Hello, and welcome to Differential Discussions. I'm Melissa,
And I'm Dave.
and today we're going to be looking at anaplasma.
Yeah. How this is a fun one.
So we've done some blood parasites, but we've done more of the ones that infect red cells. We haven't really gone into the ones that affect white cells. So we're going to do the ones that affect white cells.
Right. Yeah, this is I think it's pretty rare find. I don't have like numbers from like state labs or um but yeah, it's really not a common thing to visualize on the smear at the very least. So, as far as maybe we could just start talking about the patho a little bit, I guess. Yeah, makes sense. So we did a little quick research with the geographic distribution of the disease. So it's found in the United States, principally on the coasts. It looks like it covers the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. And then there's a species of tick on the West Coast. So tick-borne illness. Um, as far as testing is concerned, I believe there's PCR available, so it'd be pretty straightforward to catch this via PCR. And there are also serologic tests. Serologic tests are good, a little bit cheaper than PCR, but they take some time to develop, right? You need the kind of full immune response to kind of go through its paces. Alternatively, you can do peripheral blood evaluations. Finding it on right stain is quite difficult. We happen to have the mother load here. Like this is the one of the best slides I've ever seen for an anaplasma. So we're really excited to have it here. But one of the other ways that we would visualize, because it is tricky on right stain, is to use a fluorescent stain. The one that I have experience with is acridine orange. In combination with a fluorescent scope, it visualizes DNA as green and RNA as orange. And, we would frequently find blood parasites this way. You'd have your orange ring and your green chromatin dot. What anaplasma looks like, because bacteria, principally DNA organisms, is you'd have a neutrophil. You'd see the polysegmented neutrophil nucleus, bright green nucleus. And then in the cytoplasm of the neutrophil, you see a green rod or a green dot. And that's unusual. If it was some kind of an RNA inclusion or something like that, which you might see in white cells, it would be orange. So it's a dead giveaway seeing DNA in a vacuole in the cytoplasm of a neutrophil that you have something like an anaplasma.
Yeah. And
But
they
yeah,
usually form into little morulae in the cytoplasm.
yep, exactly,
So
yep.
you may
So
hear the
yeah,
word morulae, and that's just basically this little colony of them forming inside of the vacuole.
yeah, so they've evolved to kind of evade the destructive properties of these cells, right? So they can wall themselves off, replicate, kill the cell out, and do their thing. But yeah, so I think a lot of the thing you're gonna find on this is like it's gonna look like the area that we're in is crappy. It's because all the areas are crappy.
I feel like we've
um,
been saying that a lot lately, that there's
I
been
know
like
it's just a
different
lot of really sick people. Yeah, I think it's just reflective of the status of the patient more than anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we think we have two neutrophils here, each with organisms in them. Um, the neutrophil on the bottom there, in the bottom of that cytoplasm, is a suspicious kind of inclusion looking, probably of a morulae of anaplasma phagolyticum. And then the other neutrophil, I see a vacuole with something in there. It's a little non-specific, this inclusion, but given what we know about the slide, highly suspicious. Normally
Yeah, I feel like
vacuoles don't have
I
anything.
feel like both of them are kind of non-specific. They're not
Yeah.
like in your face, but given that we already know the slide contains anaplasma,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't beat yourself up over missing this on a scan. This is not an easy organism.
I think the
Um,
other thing that I wanted to point out on that I was just thinking about is the red cells. You notice how there are dicryocytes, those teardrops, but all of the teardrops are going in one direction.
yes. Yep. Yeah,
So
which is like classic
yeah,
artifact, right?
yeah. So these teardrops look like artifacts because they all look like they're going in one direction. We've
Mhm.
mentioned that before in a past video. I can't remember which one, but I just wanted to bring that up and point it out that that's what this looks like.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Good to get acclimated to that.
let's look around and see if we find lots of echinocytes.
Yep, yep. Which we see in infections and
Yeah.
lots of vacuolated neutrophils.
Yeah,
Right?
that's why I stopped. Because again,
Mhm.
just like with the histoplasma slide, every time I see
Mhm.
the vacuoles now, I'm gonna stop. I'm like, is there something in there?
Yep, yep. The clumps. Weird lymph.
Weird. And now all of a sudden we're really thick.
Yeah, yeah. It really is just, I think, a problem with, the peripheral blood is not meant to have bacteria kind of
I don't think
yeah.
there's anything in them.
Mhm. So yeah, the vacuoles on the left hand side looks like there's something in there.
Here?
Yeah. Again, like very very subtle stuff. This is not the primary means that we should be detecting this stuff, this infection.
Yeah, I don't know if that's anything.
Probably not. It's a piece of a nucleus, just
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like a piece of a nucleus. So this is what we're talking about here.
yeah, just poor neutrophils. What the
I,
heck?
I think that's the other thing too, is the neutrophils look kind of beat up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lymphocyte. Beautiful lymphocyte. I think last we looked too, there's some reactive lymphs and going on in here too. So a lot of smudges. We'll see. Deeply basophilic lymph.
Not a lot of like a lot of cells, but also not a lot of like good cells.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful vacuoles there.
Yeah, I don't see anything in there either.
Yeah, it's tough, but this is where like Dole bodies are your worst enemy,
Oh
and
my God.
yeah, this truly is like a difficult thing to find. I imagine this patient's quite ill. Huge vacuole. Wow.
Another one with a big vacuole.
Mm.
Smudgy. Oh,
Hey now. So that's amazing. Snap a picture.
I was just gonna say.
You can look at this slide, a dozen times and find something new.
Yeah.
That's
So
excellent.
Dole bodies are really tricky because whenever you see them, you kind of like, is that a morule? Is that a morule? But I think when you actually see this and you actually see that it's more of like this darker blue that we're looking at here, I think that really helps to show that the color of the piece in the cytoplasm is a different shade of blue from
Mhm.
the morule to the Dole body.
Mhm. Yep. And if you can imagine on the fluorescent scope, these would be green dots, individual green little dots inside the yeah. It's yep. I remember after we had seen an anaplasma and then there was like a scare, like whether or not there was, because we had like a really, really ill patient that had a lot of inclusions kind of going on in the neutrophils, but they didn't look like this,
No, they
right?
didn't. No.
It's just way more subtle and like, I think one of the other things we talk about is like eosinophils. Sometimes you're like, is that an EO? And then when you see an EO, it's always like affirmative, right? This is an EO. Wow, this is a morule and several organisms inside this neutrophil.
That's
The
a real,
cell looks perfect too.
yeah, I know. We lucked out finding this one because
Yeah, seriously.
I've just been kind of cruising around the slide. We've been playing this one.
Yeah, so I would say for us to, happen upon a couple of, because this actually makes that first inclusion look better too, right? The
Yeah.
one, the blue kind of, yeah.
Yep, the one that was sitting all by its lonesome in that vacuole. Yeah, this
Mhm,
one looks much better now. Like that one definitely looks more like one.
mhm.
And but you know how we had the two neutrophils together and the bottom one we were questioning? The bottom one I'm kind of like meh, but
Yeah,
the
now
top
it's
one,
dismissive, right?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But like
it's a
these are the
tricky.
kinds of things that we talk about where like, we may look at something and be like, oh, maybe I'll keep my eye out. And then if it's
Yeah,
doing a diff, I might be restarting a diff or
yes.
something like that. So
It's just so critical to the process. Yep.
let's see if we can find anything else.
Sure.
I don't know if we'll find anything quite this good, but
I know, right?
let's look around a little bit and just see. I guess the sticker part of the slide is going to give us better.
Sometimes it can, right? You can definitely having that more concentrated, more numerous cells makes it better.
Well, I think just like with the histoplasma slide, we had said, when we're looking for qualitative findings, sometimes the area of the slide doesn't matter quite as long as you can still see detail.
Absolutely.
The same thing's going to hold true for here. No. Not going to get anything quite as beautiful as that one that we just found.
Yeah, I think that was like the grand finale.
That was it.
So yeah, I would say for our working morphologists and stuff out there, like something to keep your eye open for, but
Mhm.
um, there are other more reliable means to
Yeah.
detect this.
Yeah, I think the slide is nice. I mean, it's beautiful to see the
It is.
anaplasma, but like you can also see some of those reactive changes with again the vacuolated neutrophils. The neutrophils look kind of beat up, and then
Mhm.
we saw at least that one reactive lymphocyte.
Yep, yep,
So we knew there was something going on, but we may have not have seen anaplasma on another slide.
yep.
So at least, reporting out the what you do see helps to kind of confirm in the physician's mind that you're seeing some kind of reactive process, even if you don't see the anaplasma.
That's a really good point, right? We want the doc to still be drilling down on infections that are possible. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all we have for this recording. So thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you'd like notifications whenever we post a new video. And feel free to reach out to us on social media or via email with comments or suggestions about future content. Thanks.